Okay, so I asked you all a question and I got some very bipolar answers. That's okay. We all have, kind of bipolar days. Months, years. Have I said too much? Well, hello there, my spooky people and wonderful weirdos. I'm one, so, don't take offense at that. It's great to be weird, right? Okay, I asked for, do you want shorter videos, like 15 minutes or less, or do you want, the longer ones? And I got both. So, for those of you who are going to drive and listen to me, on your way to work, you might have to do this one in installments because this one is going to be a longer one. Just a heads up too, I'm going to be making a spooky trip. Yeah. I'll give you a heads up. I'm going to see if I can find anything spooky. Oh, okay. Scully, do you like his new glasses? They're mine. He was feeling like he really couldn't see this morning. And I tried to explain to him that, it happens as you get older. You just need a little extra help. So there's some reading glasses. I think he looks spooktacular. That was so bad. I know. Anyway, give a thumbs up for Scully because, he's feeling it. I don't know if you feel sexy when you're, but hey. I'm feeling it too, because I'm wearing my momster shirt. Because, every mom can be a momster. And all of a sudden, you walk in a room and see what your kids have done, and your head starts spinning around. Yeah, anyway. Back to the ghost stories. Y'all, these first ones are submissions by you, and y'all are killing me. Okay, Joel Weidenfeld. If people see relatives and if nurses see patients who are dying, etc., how do they bring their clothes along with them? Even when people see relatives or sick people as younger and better, or children as adults, or what accounts for their clothes? I don't know. I hope you have a ghost power that will, change your clothes. I don't want to think that every day I should be dressing for, the inevitable. I do not want to be caught dead. No naked ghosts, all right? Just no. I don't know, Joel, but if anybody can help us out with this one, please tell me, because I don't know. Okay. Bello. I don't know if that's supposed to be hello or bello. My daughter comes into the room saying bello, so maybe that was it. Nikki was here. Hello, Nikki. My mom is a pediatrician, and she used to work at an old hospital that is now a gender advocacy building. And there was this one time she went down to the ER, and she found no nurses that were tending to the patient. So she was tending to the patient for 52 minutes. And when she got up, all the nurses were outside her quarter. I've never seen a doctor do anything by themselves for 52 minutes. She asked them, hey, where were you? You weren't tending the patients, and there's prisoner patients that need tending to. The nurses said, but we thought you were tending the prisoner patients. And they were all screaming and ran down to the ER. Apparently, they heard a deep voice from the inside of my mom's quarters saying, Sandali. I think I said that right. Or wait. Yes, I live in the Philippines. Okay, so I guess Sandali is the Filipino word for wait. So, the doctor is in there working, and she's like, where's all the nurses? And, they're outside hearing some deep voice say, wait. Oh, yeah. Why were they telling you to wait? Did they just want you to wait and let the patient join them? I don't know. I need a little bit more information on that one. Battered Wife says, my mom says she'll leave her house to me, but I may not change anything, not move a thing. And her furniture is not to my taste. Nothing in her decor resonates with me, and I definitely don't intend to keep anything the way she has it right now. But now I'm worried. My mom is very stern and controlling. Oh, even though I am an old woman now. So now I'm wondering if I should change anything after I inherit her house. Shivers. Okay, I'm really sorry about this whole situation because nobody should feel like that. Now, I have told my daughter, because I've told her I'm going to leave her this house. Um, it'll probably be split, but she wants the house, and she's already told me, she's going to redecorate everything. She wants to make give it a 70s groove. I'm like, I will hunt you. Like, don't you be changing everything to like orange and olive green. No. But she swears she's going to do it. If I'm going to haunt her, I'm going to haunt her whether she does the house. I say, sorry, Mom, but I'm saying when it's your house, you decorate it the way that you feel comfortable. And that's exactly what I would do. Okay, Jan Benson. I got chewed out by a funeral director from a small town near our big city ER because I didn't wrap the body. I had never done that in 30 years, so was a bit surprised. Okay, so you nurses and medical people, when they say wrap the body, do you mean wrap it like a mummy kind of so it doesn't move? Y'all know, if you don't know, bodies can sit up. Even no ghosts, they can sit up. It's the gases, and it can scare the crap out of you. They just go boom. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I don't remember anybody wrapping bodies. Usually they go kind of in a bag. So that's the way we used to do it at the hospital. So I'm not sure about wrapping, but maybe that's why, so they don't sit up. Okay, and then Jan tells us a story. 38 years ago, as a young nurse, I was working at night, sitting at the desk. I looked up and down the hall, and something was floating. It had no legs, and it seemed to catch the light. I nearly wet my pants, but made myself walk around the desk and towards the image. I was finally able to when I found a bunch of helium balloons that had drifted out of a patient's room and down the hall. I think that's funny. Maybe the balloons, maybe a ghost pushed the balloons out to give you a little spook. I don't know. I think that's a hilarious story, though. Vlad Vampire Lord. When I was in high school, I went to the local library to study, but even though it was a library, there were noisy characters there, so I went to the back of the library to find a quiet place. There were old books that looked like they were rotting there, and desks in a semicircle that were made of wood and seemed from a different time. It almost seemed like a lesson was taking place. I thought that nobody comes back here, and this was a perfect place to study. I sat down, and after a few moments, I heard, "Get out." What? I got fearful and gathered my books and left, only to feel foolish for being such a coward. I returned and could hear the radiator making a noise and assumed that was the cause of what I heard. Nevertheless, I left. However, I did not just hear what seemed to be the phrase, "Get out." Get out. Was it like that? I don't know. Sorry. My entertainment. I heard it in an angry shout close to my ear, like someone pressed their mouth to it before screaming. No. Look, you get out. You had your time. This is my appointment, buddy. I don't mean to make light of that because that is terrifying when you hear and feel and whatever right in your ear. Yeah, that would spook me out a little bit. All right, and these are stories from around the internet. Hi everyone, this is my first time posting of my true story of my encounter with ghosts. I live in Adelaide, South Australia. I lived and grew up in a small town called Virginia, and when I was 7 to 8 years old, I had to share a small bedroom with my brother and sister. My brother and sister slept on the bunk bed, and I slept on a mattress on the floor about a meter away from the window. Our bedroom windows are large. It's from the top of the roof down to the bottom, close to the floor. We had roller shutters installed, and it was not rolled all the way down, about 20 centimeters still open. Those windows sound gorgeous, by the way. One early morning, about 2 to 3 a.m., I was startled to hear the noise of kids laughing. So I turned to my right and I looked out on the bottom of the window, and all I could see were 2 kids running past the window and laughing. And then a man with thongs or walking or striding behind following them. I was so scared, hid into my blanket, and couldn't sleep until morning came. Anyways, a few years passed and I never saw the ghost again, but I was told a story that in the 1930s, or around that time, there had been a plane crash near where our home was built, and those were the lost souls of all that passed away from that crash. Wow. Fast forward to when I was 14 to 15 years old, they had a whole group of monks who came to cleanse the area and help the souls move on. And from then on, I never saw or felt or heard any more ghosts. Thank you for reading. I hope to be able to share more of my ghost stories with you all soon. Okay, that is scary. And because it was cleansed and then you never saw them, I kind of have to wonder, was it the kids in the plane crash? It would be nice. If you have to be here, at least you could be a kid and play all day. So I recently moved into another house up in the Appalachian Mountains. Nothing too wild initially happened other than dogs barking at nothing randomly. And that's not too unusual in itself. Occasional shadows out of the corner of your eye, but nothing you couldn't chalk up to another reasonable explanation. The other day, however, I went to the car to get something, only to come back and find the door had been locked. I know I didn't lock it. No one else was inside, but I just chalked it up to an accident. A couple of nights later, I was lying in my bed, about to fall asleep, when I felt what seems like a hand on top of my head. No, it startled me, and I opened my eyes to find the room exceptionally dark, so dark that I couldn't even see anything at all. I said a quick prayer and tried to go back to sleep as I felt the sensation lift off of me. A few hours of sleep pass until I am abruptly woken by the sensation of someone blowing directly in my face. No, oh, not the face, not the feet, no. I can't explain it any other way. It was so forceful that it actually blew back my hair into my face, and that's what woke me. No fans, no windows, no breezes to account for this. I still can't explain it. It creeped me out, and I spent the rest of the night under the covers. Anyone else ever encounter this or can shed some light on what could have been? I'm genuinely perplexed, y'all. I would be genuinely upset. Like, don't be breathing on me. It's one thing for the ghosts to make noises and all this, but when they invade my personal space, it's a big no for me. My roommate in Green Valley, California, in the Angeles National Forest, was also the owner of the house that I was living in, with another roommate too. And Dave had a dog named Snickers, and she was a really good dog. My mom had a dog named Snickers. We would be doing art projects in the living room, and Snickers would be laying on the floor, and all of a sudden she would get up and walk to the middle of the living room. She would stare up in this corner of the living room ceiling, totally intrigued by something in the corner, watching it, and whatever it was moving around, and she would move her head and turn it to the side and everything, like for 30 minutes. Uncle Dave would say, "Snickers, go lay down." It would freak us all out, and then she'd come back and do it again. I don't know what she was seeing, but she was so fascinated, and there was nothing. Dave said it's probably an Indian spirit, so he was so sure of it. Dave, the owner, was an artist. I got into making things with him, and it was a lot of fun. He had all kinds of paint set up. Things, easels, etc. He told me a story, and he said, "Don't tell the other roommates." I told you about this, but it's just something I'm going to tell you about. I said, okay. He said, I used to have a trailer on the other side of the yard, and it had all my art stuff inside of it. And I used to go out there and create things in my trailer. And he said one evening he was painting a picture of an Indian woman. He worked on it for a couple nights, and he said one evening when he went out there and he was finishing the picture up, he started painting feathers. He said all of a sudden everything went crazy in the trailer. And everything was thrown all over the place like a tornado. And he said he got the heck out of there. It scared the crap out of him, he said. He said, that's why I do art in my house now. I was afraid to go back there in that trailer. And he said he doesn't paint Indians anymore either. The way he told me that story, I believed him. Now, I do some painting myself, but I honestly... I've never painted anything and had something like that paranormal happen. So, yeah, was it the subject or was it the trailer? Was it a combination of both? What do y'all think? I have been woken up out of a deep sleep by something poking my foot under that I had out from under the covers. Could y'all stop with these feet? I sat up in bed and looked around, but nothing. I could feel the fingertip, though. Didn't scare me as much as confuse me, so that's good. Oh, and I don't sleep with my feet out anymore. Yeah, I understand. I do know a boy I went to school with that passed away on this property like 15 years ago or so. But he was a really sweet guy, and I knew him well, so I'm not sure. Okay, so maybe if this was somebody that you knew that passed away, maybe that was him, like tickling your feet. Look, I don't know. I mean, you have to think about it. If you're a ghost and you're in the afterlife and you're stuck here for whatever reason, you're hanging around, not much going on, people are sleeping, it's kind of Dullsville. Like maybe you just want to tickle somebody's toes or feet a little bit, just get a reaction. It's kind of like a ghost prank. I mean, I don't know, but I probably wouldn't be past that if I was a bored ghost in the afterlife. I'm just saying. I lived in a house out in rural Kentucky. I woke to my long hair being pulled straight up hard. No hair pulling. It scared me so much. Not long afterwards, I dreamed about being pulled and scratched on my arms by two creatures I couldn't see. I awoke saying the Lord's Prayer and had 2 bites, teeth marks, small, on the inside of my arm like a child's. Like a child? Oh, I thought you meant like it was creatures like you had like fangs. It was like a bite mark of a child. No. Look, kid ghosts freak me out. They really do. Then you have biting kid ghosts? Oh, heck no. No. Oh my gosh. Exorcism. What do we talk about on this channel? Exorcism. You better call the Ghostbusters. Do it now. I had the same experience. I used to have something blow into my face too, and one time it spoke to me. No. New fears unlocked. The first couple of times it happened, I would be startled awake by the feeling of something blowing right into my face. I would convince myself I must have somehow done it to myself, or it was a dream, and drift back off to sleep. And then it would happen again, and I could even hear the sound of someone blowing, like when you blow out a candle, and it was enough to move my bangs. Then one day, I wanted to get up early for some reason, so I set my alarm. The alarm went off, but I kept hitting the snooze. And while I was half awake, someone blew into my face again several times. I kept trying to ignore it, thinking I must somehow keep dreaming or imagining this sensation, and it stopped. Then I finally got up about an hour later and was mad that I let myself keep snoozing. Gosh, we've all done that at one time or another. I was sitting up in bed and grumbling out loud about how I ignored my alarm and now I was running late. And suddenly, right beside me, I heard a soft voice say, "Well, I tried to wake you up." Oh no, no. I knew I was home alone, so I just kind of froze for a few seconds. And then I remembered the blowing in my face, so I turned around, not seeing anyone there, of course, and said, "Oh my God, you did try to wake me up. Thank you." We're having ghost conversations now? Okay, whatever. You do you. Then I tried to ask who they were, but I got no more replies. Made me realize that the other times had been real too. Alright, you know what? If you want to wake up and you're afraid that you're gonna let the snooze alarm mess up your time, get a cat. Okay, get a cat. The cat will wake you up every single time. Nobody needs no ghost alarms. I think there's a better way. Well, that's just my opinion. Okay, this really weirded me out, but I figured at least it was apparently a helpful spirit. Well, I guess. This was back in 2009, and all of the face blowing incidents happened over the course of a month or two, I think. The dad of a good friend had passed away not long but too long before that, and he was a very kind and playful person, and kind of like a dad to me. So I've always wondered if maybe that was him coming to visit me. That very last time it happened, I had just settled into bed when someone blew right into my ear. Look, again, with the ear blowing. No. It actually startled a laugh out of me. Well, I'm glad somebody's laughing about this. And I tried asking who was there again, but nothing. I really wish I knew exactly who or what it was, but it felt really playful and friendly, so it didn't really scare me. Plus, I've had a lot of other paranormal experiences, so I guess I'm kind of used to it. Well, so have I, but I'm still not allowing a ghost to blow in my ear. I think in your case, someone's trying to get your attention or maybe just being a prankster. My husband has actually been locked out a few times. Oh my gosh. I tease him that our spirits are just messing with him and make him believe like I do. I hope whatever's hanging around you doesn't bother you too much. If you feel up to it, maybe try talking to them like I do, though I admit it sure is shocking when they talk back. Okay, I do not recommend talking to ghosts, okay? There are a multitude of reasons for that. And although this is a very playful story, and apparently the OP was not scared or, whatever, freaked out about it, you don't know who you're talking to. It's not like these ghosts carry around an ID card. All right? So I would caution against talking to ghosts. But that's just me. I was 18, I'm 30 now, and I awoke to a similar feeling of something touching my head while I was met with a simultaneous cold breeze that woke me out of my sleep. When I awoke, I was looking at an all-white lady spirit, eerily smiling. I jumped over the covers and called my friend at the time, who convinced me to peek back out the covers, only to find she was now at the end of my bed. Oh no. Not sure if I passed out from fear, but woke up the next morning really scared. Things happened like doors shaking extremely hard for no reason, to feeling like when I came home at night, something I couldn't see was behind me, and it very much gave a malicious feeling. Okay, yeah, something's getting closer and closer. I wake up, dream or not, what? No. Again, what's the word of the day? Exorcism. Need to paint a sign right back here. Call an exorcist. I think I am going to paint that sign. Oh my God. I grew up in Butte, Montana, and the house we lived in had a spirit in it. Sorry, dog. It did many things to scare us, and it was very active. One of the favorite things it seemed to like was to turn on the water faucet in the downstairs bathroom. Yeah, I got that problem too. Many nights my dad would have to get up and go downstairs to turn the faucet off. Our dog, Nicholas, would always cower behind the couch and would be barking in a manner that almost sounded. When I was a teenager, I would like to have my girlfriends spend the night. One night, a friend came over for the night, and we decided to go upstairs to my bedroom to hang out. It was late, and my dad was already in bed. In the room, I started talking about how you always know when someone is coming up the stairs because the top stairs always creak when you step on them. I was looking out of the window while I was saying this, and suddenly the stairs creaked loudly. We stopped talking and looked at each other and held our breath. I guess so. Then my bedroom door flew open with such force that it slammed against the wall and closed again. My girlfriend screamed and her legs gave out on her, and she crumpled to the floor. I happened to have a small paring knife in my dresser that I had used earlier to carve my apple and was eating. I grabbed that and pointed at the door. Yeah, 'cause that's gonna work. Get out of here, you ghosts! We got the courage up and decided to go looking for whomever it was that just scared the crap out of us. Your brain starts to look for a logical reason for what just happened. Yes, that's very true. We opened the door and walked down the hallway and stopped at my dad's door. I opened it and he was in bed, sound asleep. I could not believe that he was sleeping through all of this. So I closed his door and we went down the stairs and checked all of the doors and even stepped outside to see if there were footprints. It was January and there was lots of snow outside, but there were no footprints. We searched the downstairs and came up with nothing and nobody that could have done this. It was very creepy walking around that night. I'm sure the spirit was having a good laugh. Believe me, it was never a dull moment growing up in this house. The spirit that was there was very much a trickster. Only once did I ever see a black shadow of it, and I was about 10 years old. I was sitting on the couch and saw it out of the corner of my eye that the laundry room light turned on, and when I turned to look, I saw it walk into the kitchen. He just wanted a snack, okay? Just a snack. In the basement, there was a huge rock of limestone, which I've heard can be an energy source to spirits. Maybe it got some power from there. I don't know. I've never heard that about limestone, but it makes me wonder, why was there a huge rock of limestone in there? Was like somebody trying to gather energy? I don't know. That's weird. That's weird. But going out to chase a ghost with a little paring knife, I would do that. I'm not gonna lie. I remember I left my eldest son to babysit his younger brother for a couple of hours one evening. He had a friend over, and they were on the games console in the living room, but heard footsteps running on the stairs. Thinking his little brother was out of bed, he checked, but his brother was asleep. This happened again, so he thought he would catch his brother out and waited near the foot of the stairs. But when they looked the second time, they heard the footsteps. No one was there, and racing up and down the stairs, there was his brother, fast asleep on the top bunk. His friend made his excuses and left. Yeah, well, that's not surprising. If you ever want to get rid of company, just call out the ghosts. They scatter pretty quick. Yeah, they all make their excuses and leave. Have I said too much? One of the things that would amuse us was when we would come home and every picture and painting on the walls would be tilted drastically to the side. And we had artwork covering every wall through the living room and dining room. Oh my God, look, that's just mean. My dad used to laugh and say it looks like somebody didn't like us being gone for so long. Like I said, I really felt that the spirit there was more of a trickster than anything. I never got any bad or scary feelings from him. I always say him because I felt that it was a male. But as far as demonic or evil, that has never been in my thoughts of him. Well, I'm glad he didn't scare you and all that, but But messing with the pictures, I mean, come on, that's a lot of work. You might as well just leave them tilted. Ain't nobody got time for that. There's a homeless older man downtown as I'm riding my bike to work. Every now and then I would give him money and have a little chat. Oh, that's very sweet. Very, very kind. I haven't seen him for a few months and I've wondered what happened to him. Last night I had a dream that I was riding my bike through town and across the street I saw him, but he was dressed in a suit, looked healthy and well groomed. He was calling my name and waving to me, and he looked so happy. I feel kind of sad and thinking maybe he has passed away. You know, if you haven't seen him in a couple of months, that's not a good sign. And the fact that you had this dream and he was in a suit and he was happy, like, I kind of agree. I kind of think he may have. And he was just checking in to thank you for being kind to him when probably a lot of people weren't. And he wanted to let you know that he was in a better place, I hope. Yeah, that's really sweet. I wasn't sure ghosts truly exist. Ain't that the story until you see one? It was only on January the 11th of this year, I will never forget the date, that changed my mind. I dropped the kids off at school, dropped my scarf I was wearing on one of the arms of the sofa around 9 a.m. I cleaned up the kitchen, then made a cup of tea, closed the sitting room door, and sat down on the other sofa. Sat there for approximately 1 hour and kept on thinking scarf. Every time I thought scarf, I turned my head to the left to look at it, and then I turned back and watched TV. It happened a few times. I don't understand why you're thinking about the scarf. Okay, let's keep going. Then the last time I stared at it, and it shot up so fast, I've never seen anything move so quickly into the air. What? At that speed, it would hit the ceiling. It stopped, then half of it went out, and I could describe it like a flag waving vertically as I was watching the animals on it. What? The other half was like a ball. Like, what? So okay, like the scarf like balled up on one side and was like flagging on the other as it's in the air. Oh, it was hovering and floating. It must have been a good few seconds as I was just staring at it and thinking, that's so amazing. That's not what I would be thinking. How is that happening? Then it went into a line vertically up like someone holding it for a second or two. Then all of a sudden it was slammed onto the floor, not floated down. Then I got scared, so I had to play loud music. I even tried to recreate it and think of logical explanations, but I can't. Yeah, I can't either. I don't know. Was something holding that? I don't know. I know. I think I'd burn the scarf, though. I'm just saying. Maybe it's a haunted scarf. Has it done anything since? Or does it just do tricks? I don't know. I'm saying trash it. A few days later, I was chatting to my daughter mid-morning. She was standing in the sitting room by the door. I was standing in the corridor. Then I saw a head on this transparent like bubble effect shaped as a human come from the sofa and then turned right and walked across the room behind my daughter. I really wish I had followed it to see where it went, but I didn't and continued to chat. Okay. In the past, we heard footsteps upstairs and banging, but banging stopped, and I didn't think much of it. Thank you for reading. I will share some more another time. Okay, I don't know. What do you do, really? If you're talking to your daughter and you don't want to scare your family or friends and you see this bubble ghost, go walking through the room, do you alert? Do you would you say, get out of the way, there's a ghost? Or do you just play it cool, casual? Yeah, ghost, I see you. I don't know. I think if they're in danger, you need to tell them, hey, buddy, there's a ghost behind you. And then they send you on a long vacation. All right, last month I was staying in my daughter's 100-year-old house to babysit my grandson while she and her hubby took a weekend getaway for the first time since her 4-year-old was born. Wow, they need a vacation. I had stayed many times, but never alone. The house has a converted attic where the guest room and my things were. The night they were gone, I slept downstairs with my grandson. The first night they were gone, I woke up to their dog doing the low growl thing they do, and that sounds scary. Yeah, it does, because you don't know, like, is somebody trying to break in? What are they hearing? I heard footsteps on the stairs leading up to the converted attic and panicked because I couldn't remember if I had locked the back door. I snuck through the kitchen and grabbed the biggest knife I could find and headed up the stairs. I immediately noticed that the main light was on up there, and I knew that I hadn't left that on, and I was the last one up there. I loudly warned, "You need to come down here now, because if I have to come up there and get you, I have a gun and I will not ask questions." You tell him. Armed with only the knife, I proceeded up and leapt into the large open space, ready to attack. Yeah! But there was no one there. I checked the closet to be sure, and the bed is nearly on the ground, so even a child could not fit under it. I went back down and checked the back door at the bottom of the stairs, and it was locked. After finding no one there, I was oddly able to go right back to sleep. I had no fear. When my daughter returned a couple of days later, she asked how everything went. I told her great, except for the first night, and told her this exact story. She said, "Oh, that's just the landlord's mom that passed away in the house. This was always her house, and we hear her footsteps all the time on the stairs and across the floor above." Oh, gee. Okay. Thanks for the heads up on the ghost. Yeah, I feel like if you are asking somebody to house sit for you or whatever, I think you really should be kind and give a disclaimer. Just give them a heads up. There is a ghost here. So, if you hear any weird sounds, don't necessarily panic and think someone is coming in. It's just, so and so. I mean, I don't really have people over very often. My ghosts do like to show out sometimes when I do. So I don't really have to tell people that. But certainly, it is just courtesy. So keep that in mind, you people with haunted houses. Let people know if they're going to be staying overnight. Okay? Weird stuff has been following me my whole life, but this is something new. Recently, the gas on my stove has been coming on by itself. No flame or anything, but just the gas. And it is so covert that I can't notice it until the room is full. Yesterday, I was doing the dishes and not using the stove at all. We went to take a shower, came back, and the kitchen was full of gas. My late wife used to leave the stove on all the time. Okay, so, is she trying to get you to join her? I mean, I don't know. I mean, sometimes that happens here. Usually I have an explanation, but there has been one or two times that the gas has been on and there is no explanation for it. So I get you. But I think maybe since this is a problem, you might want to change to electric. It's just a thought, I know, but it's harder to turn on. My mother-in-law had a visit from her husband when he came and sat on the end of her bed twice. She told him she loves him and he needs to go to heaven now. Yeah, I'm glad you visited. I'm glad you said goodbye. But I think it's just time. Scurry on now. Scurry on. I don't know how I would feel about that, but I really think that I just want somebody to go. All this sitting on the bed and blowing in the ear and all that, it's just not for me. Okay, we've been reading a lot of stories. Does anybody need a potty break? Need to go get something to drink? Should I put a little timer up? Oh, this is getting long. No? Okay. Let's keep going. My father, before he passed away, had a very distinctive smell about him. He always used that orange, strong-smelling coal tar soap, and every time we visited him, his house smelled of this soap. Because my mom had passed away, he always came to mine at Christmas time. I'd obviously moved out of his by then. He did pass away one Christmas in the hospital, and Christmas at my house has never been the same. A couple of years after his passing, it was coming up to Christmas, and we were trying to summon some enthusiasm about the coming days. We'd been out shopping, and as we all stepped in through my front door, this very powerful, pungent smell of coal tar soap hit us all up in the nose. It was incredibly strong, and we all said, "Dad!" We didn't have any coal tar soap, and if we had, it wouldn't have been as powerfully pungent as that in the house. Oh, so Dad came. He's like, "What'd you buy me? It's Christmas. Did you buy me a present?" I'm getting a little loopy now. The house I live in now. One morning, I was woken up by someone that I thought was my daughter, and it came to my room while I was sleeping. I was half asleep, and it started talking to me, and I couldn't understand what it was saying because I, was asleep. And I said, "Now what?" and started to open my eyes, and it turned around and leaves. And later on, when I got up, I asked my daughter what she wanted or was telling me. She said, "I wasn't in there this morning. It wasn't me." That's happened at least 5 to 7 times. Okay, that's scary. And I think I told y'all in one of the last videos that I heard my daughter calling me when I was outside of this room, and I was like, "What? What? What do you want?" And yeah, it wasn't her. So she wasn't even home. I was here by myself. It all of a sudden got dark in here. What happened? That's weird. I remember seeing one of my colleagues walk past me at work years ago, but when I walked into the warehouse she had just walked into, she wasn't there. Turns out it was her day off. Other staff had previously reported the same thing. So is that like her spirit? Like she is so stressed out. She's worked so much. Like even when she's off, she's still at work. That's what it sounds like to me. Girl, you need a vacation. I met the ghost of myself. What? Wait. I met the ghost of myself. That's, let me just keep reading. She was a fragment of the past. What? When we met, we looked at each other for a moment, surprised. Okay, look, I think this person is not talking about a ghost of themselves. I think they're talking about a doppelganger. But I didn't think you could, whatever. But a second later, we were laughing, and the mischief came. We teased my group of friends who went into the haunted house. Of course, they were shocked and thought I was injured and my spirit had come out. Coincidentally, my friends could also see it. They panicked, but when they realized I was teasing them, they kept me quiet for a long time. I don't understand this story. I really don't. I think you're talking about a doppelganger, and that's what I'm going with, because I don't, and I've always heard stories that when you see your doppelganger, it's an omen of your demise. Does anybody else understand this story? Because I am confused. Hi guys. So yesterday night, I was getting ready to close my coffee shop, and just 10 minutes before that, an old man came in and asked me, "Where's the toilet?" And I showed him. Before he got inside, another guy was coming for the toilet too. Like, didn't that always happen? Like, nobody's in the toilet and then everybody runs at the same time, even at the gas station. So we waited. We were like 3 people, and nobody saw the first old man coming out, and he was very tall to be unseen. When the other guy got in, the old man was not inside, but nobody believed us. So, what? Now, the ghosts are just going, taking up space at the gas station toilet? I mean, come on. Or the coffee shop? Look, toilets are for the living. Don't be taking up space in stalls or whatever. When we gotta go, we gotta go. Like, you could go do a ghost pee somewhere. You don't have to go in there. That is weird, though. Again, new fear unlocked, waiting for a ghost outside the bathroom. So I used to live in a house that was built in the 50s. When we moved in for the first few months, our two dogs would look down in the hallway and bark at nothing. It was very strange. I searched the internet for a logical explanation, and the best I found was dogs can hear things going on in neighbors' houses. I was doubtful. So one night I was home alone, sitting on my couch, and I could see my dog's eyes following something in the corner of the living room, and he was growling. And I can't see anything. Next thing I know, my dog was growling and sniffing the air up and down directly in front of where I was, like sitting as if someone was standing directly in front of me. I jumped up. It scared the crap out of me. I yelled at the ghost and told it doesn't pay rent and it's not welcome. It sounds like something I would say. Exactly. Well, it never happened again, and the dogs never barked at nothing again. But that was the craziest ghost experience I've had with no plausible explanation. Wow. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you gotta be a little bit rough on these ghosts. You gotta put them in their place sometimes. Once I had enough of a shadow man throwing boxes and rattling papers. Well, yeah, I plainly saw it and ran it through a wall, commanding it in the name of Jesus to leave. It never returned. Now, tell me it never occurred. Look, I believe you. I do. Absolutely. And it's bad enough when you got a shadow man, but to be causing a ruckus, throwing boxes, rattling papers, that is not cool, ghost. Okay? Just get out. Glad you got rid of that guy. Okay, this is our last story. I had a 1912 building. I was alone, and I swear I had two older male ghosts. They had been drinkers, I'm sure, and loved young women. Well, how do you know all this about ghosts? Okay, whatever. I felt safe, but had lots of strange things going on in that building. I heard one of the old guys passed away in a fire next door, and the other I couldn't place. They were jokers. There was a doorbell I couldn't find going off at times. So you didn't have a doorbell, you just heard a doorbell. When I would come home from camp and everything was as I had left it, I would say, "Hey, I'm home." I don't know why. But I did feel coming up my stairs there was a strange energy. Till I called each time. I swear the building warmed up. Then one time I came home from camp and my place had been broken into. But the weird thing was, it looks like they ran out of my house and dropped all my stuff. Like everything down the stairs and out the door. I almost picked up everything up from across the yard and up the stairs. So whatever happened in there, I know for sure something scared them out of the house. Secretly, I know it was my ghosts. Well, at least these ghosts are good for something. Later, behind my green shed, I found a circle, and it was full of short stumbies. Stumbies? Older, short-top beer bottles. Full of beer in a witch's circle. Oh no, that's what it looked like to me. So weird digging that up. They were drinkers and hiding beer and must have loved that place. It burnt down in 93 because I wasn't home and a roommate had a party. He doesn't know how it was started, so I was homeless that night. So that's the other story. I miss the ghosts. Well, I guess you can miss ghosts if they're helpful, but, yeah, I don't know, the whole circle beer. Yeah, that's creepy. That's on the creep meter for me. Alright, this was a long video, and I am going to be going away for a few days, so hopefully I will have something even more spectacular to bring you when I come back. In the meantime, y'all watch out for them beer drinking, bottle throwing, paper shredding ghosts, and remember to stay spooky. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.